Hello, this is Pete or Kenshin1913, and we're on location at my friend's house.
Ria.
And we are doing a cooking with Kenshin1913. What are we making today, Ria?
We are making some buffalo chicken dip. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our softened cream cheese. It's an 8-ounce box, a little brick here. And I like to soften it for maybe like half an hour to an hour beforehand, just so it's easier. So we're going to mash this up. What I like about this recipe is that you can make it in the pan that you're doing it in. Today I'm using a 2.75 quart Pyrex dish, but you can use an 8x8 or a 9x9, whatever you use for brownies or cake, or you could use a foil pan if you want to take it somewhere. So that's what we're using for that. I like to mash up the cream cheese with some forks, just so it's easier to mix up when we add the buffalo sauce and the ranch dressing, which we'll be using.
So Ria, where did you learn this recipe from?
I actually learned this, I looked up the recipe online a few years ago, but friends used to make it at parties, and I was at a cookout one time, and my friend came over and she had just come from work, and she hadn't had time to make the dip ahead of time, so she made it right there in the house, and it only took a few minutes, and I was like, oh my gosh, I could do this too. So I looked up the recipe and started making it myself.
Nice.
Yeah. So the next thing we're going to do is put a half cup. I like to use the Frank's Red Hot wing sauce. You can use just their normal hot sauce, but I like to use the buffalo sauce because it adds a little bit more, it's got a little bit of butter in it, I think, but it tastes a lot more like wings. So a half cup right in there. And then with the same measuring cup, I like to use ranch. You could put some blue cheese crumbles in here, but I like to just use ranch and buffalo sauce. So another half cup. It's approximate. Throw that in there. Scrape it out. Mix it up. Get it nice and mixed. And for this, I'm just looking for the cream cheese to be mixed in all together with the ranch and the buffalo sauce, so that you can't really tell what's in it anymore.
Mm-hmm. And so the cream cheese is, you're gonna put this in the oven, correct?
Put it in the oven. I have it preset for 350 Fahrenheit. And you bake it for about 20 to half an hour. It just depends on how long it takes for the cheese to melt.
Mm-hmm. Now, is this a good recipe to make if you want to do something ahead of time? How does it like freeze? Does it?
I've never
well?
frozen it before, but you can definitely freeze it. Not freeze it. You can put it in the fridge. Do it overnight, and without baking it or baking it, you can bake it beforehand. I like to bake it right before serving it because cheese is always better melted. Mm-hmm. But you can definitely, if you only have the time to make it at night, just bake it the night before, stick it in an oven. You could even put it on a plate and reheat it as long as the dish is microwave safe. And it's still delicious that way. All right, so we are now going to add some rotisserie chicken to this. I've pre-shredded it. It's about 2 cups. I like to add a little bit more chicken because I like my buffalo chicken dip to have a little bit more. So you can add a little bit more if you've got it. You could also use the cans of chicken breast if you don't have access to a rotisserie chicken, or if you want it even simpler, you can use, I think, 2 cans of strained white chicken breast and mix it in, and that's fine too. So mix it all together. Same thing, you just want everything coated with the sauce and cheese. And if you have a little bit of chunks of cream cheese in there, it's not gonna make a difference because it's all gonna melt down anyway. And then after we add the chicken, we're gonna add the cheese. So we'll add, there's about 8 ounces, that's 1 cup of shredded mild cheddar. And I like to put some in the dip, and then I like to top it off with more cheese because who doesn't like cheese? So I like to do a little bit at a time so it's not too much to work with. So add a little bit. And again, you could add as little or as much cheese as you want. But like I said, I like it real cheesy. Melts down really nice. So mix that up, and then when it's a little bit, it's not too much sauce in there anymore from the buffalo sauce and the ranch, that's when you really know you've put enough of everything in. Because I think if you add too much chicken or too much cheese, then it gets a little dry, and then it's not very good.
Now, do you want it more liquidy, or is that like the perfect consistency there?
I think it's preference for me, something like this, where you can easily mold it and there's nothing, no runoff from sauce is perfect. But if you like it a little bit more saucy, then add less chicken or add less cheese. It's really your own preference, and you can try it one way and then try it a different way. Use a different kind of chicken, use a different type of cheese. You can use Colby Jack, you can use really anything, any type of good melting cheese to make buffalo chicken dip. But traditionally it's a cheddar, and mild cheddar seems to melt the best for things like this, or pepper jack if you like a little bit of variety, or Colby Jack.
Now,
So,
can I ask you a question, Ria, with the hot sauce? Could you use just hot sauce and then add butter if you don't like the buffalo mixture?
Yeah, or you could just use hot sauce and you don't need to add butter. If you're trying to save on calories or something like that, you could definitely just use hot sauce. It doesn't really change the flavor that much, but I feel like it tastes more like a buffalo wing that's sort of deconstructed and melted down without the bone than, just plain old hot sauce. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to just put the rest of the cheese, or as much of the cheese to cover the top, on it. And I like to do it so that you can't really see what's underneath peeking through. That way, you get a nice even coating of cheese. That'll melt nicely, and we'll put this in the oven for about 20 minutes to half an hour.
At 350 degrees, right?
350 degrees, and then the way that you know it's done is that it'll be bubbling on the sides. And if you like a little bit of browning of cheese on top, you could stick it under the broiler for a minute. I usually get enough brown just by baking it at 350 for half an hour. So that's it. We're ready for the oven. All right, just took it out of the oven. It's nice and bubbly on the sides, and there's a little bit of browning around the edge. I think it looks great. We're gonna let it cool for a few minutes, just so we don't burn our mouths on hot cheese. All right, let's plate this up. See if I can get it all in one scoop. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the first one's always the toughest to get.
First one's always the toughest.
Even with pie.
Here we are.
Nice.
There it is.
All right, so here it is, a buffalo chicken dip. Looks great. What are you getting with? I'm gonna take a chip.
I'm gonna try a little celery.
I'm gonna grab the goodness that is this right here. Mmm. That's good. If you like Frank's, this is like right up your alley.
Nice and warm.
Spicy, but not too hot.
Cools it down with the ranch and the cream
The
cheese.
cheese, yeah, for sure. And you got a lot of nice. I got a nice bite of chicken. I'm going for seconds here. That's good. So I want to thank Ria. Thank you so much
Hey, you're welcome.
for
Anytime.
doing this awesome recipe. So I've been Pete for Kenshin1913, along with.
Ria.
This has been another Cooking with Kenshin1913, and as my mom would say, enjoy and happy eating.